Hey everybody, it's Angel and Mayhem from Halo Inspirations. We give you inspirations to help you spread beauty and joy through your quilting journey. Happy Hump Day, whoop whoop, and Merry Christmas Wednesday. Oh, I had to think. I know you don't normally say it that way. I noticed that YouTube may be having some problems. Michael's keeping an eye on that. If you find yourself getting kicked out, apparently you can come back in. We seem to be streaming okay, but I guess there are some issues. I probably should put up the chat box for a little bit. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. Okay, so I do have, hello, Miss Mary. Glad to see you over there on Facebook land. Hello, Sherry and Memoirs of a Long Arm Quilter over there on YouTube land. Yes, today a video dropped, right? So glad y'all could stop by. It is the Christmas tree skirt. We're calling it Christmas Cheer. Super love that. We have a lot of stuff to cover because I am going to do a demo for you guys today live. Hopefully I don't fall out of my chair this time. And I won't be wearing this get up forever because I'm really hot. Anyway, we do have a lot of things to cover, so it will be a little bit long. I want to ask if anybody's watched the video and you have any questions, go ahead and post them here and oh, thank you. I will be monitoring that along with Michael. He can let me know if I miss something, because he's monitoring them also. But that way we'll catch it. You know what, guys? One of the things that I really want to, I have never talked about this, and this is kind of important. Right now we don't have metric ton of people, but it's coming. We're growing literally every day. So the best way to ask a question in my head is if you put all caps the word ask, A-S-K, and then put your question, and that's the only time I'd ask for all caps, because that way it will stand out and that way I can be sure to address it. No worry, Miss Mary. No worries at all. It will, Miss Mary says her bad. She forgot to watch. So you can see that. Oh, hers came in first. That's weird. So, at any rate, no worries. It's always there for the hashtag replay. So definitely check this out. It's a lot of fun. And we're going to cover some things related to it. And thank you, Memoirs of a Long Arm Quilter, for talking about my bling. I love sparkles. I know you must too. All right, guys. First thing is first. The first thing I wanted to cover is the resources, because I've done 3 with Tam's help. Tam actually helped with this one. And I have a lot of new followers, and you may not know exactly, if I put something out like this, what it means. But I also just want to talk about it real quick. So if you decide, because I've already had a few people tell me they want to make this. So if you are one of those, I'm going to explain a little bit how it can help you. Okay. So I'm going to switch the camera, I hope. Okay. I do have a chat box here. Look at that. Okay. So, this is the coloring sheet. Basically what it is an outline of the quilt. Okay. Plain and simple. No color, no nothing. And you can kind of see what's going on underneath. So let me move that out. Okay. These larger squares are the panels that I used from the Fat Quarter bundle that I had. And we'll talk about fabric in a little bit. And then all the little squares are the 2.5 inches. These are 8.5. These are 2.5. The coloring sheet enables you, especially if you don't have a large design board where you can just slap everything up, you can color in here to get started, to know if you're going to like it, where the placement needs to go. You can write in pencil, so you could say B for blue, R for red, O for orange, for instance, right? And you could just really basically start to mess with color and what you would like to do with it, okay? The other thing, no matter if you have a design board or not, this gives you how many 2-inch squares and 8-inch squares are in each row. So when you begin to design this, you can tell how many are in each row. So that's very advantageous. The last thing a coloring sheet will do is if you're looking at different quilting motifs, so maybe you want to do something in each individual larger block and then something else inside the smaller blocks, you can actually play with quilting motifs to see if you're going to like it, or, you know, to doodle a little, right? So this enables you to not only with color variation, placement, but also quilting. So that is the first resource that is free on haloinspired.com/inspirations. Okay. And it is labeled a coloring sheet. The second and third, basically what I did is, or with Tam's help, because she's the one that put that all together. Isn't that nice? It's a guide. And so basically what I've done is I've broken down the different sections. So we have section A, section B, C, D, E, and F, and you can see where it's separated so you know what is what in each section. This helps a lot when you're doing off a design board and you're just wanting to build one section at a time, because then you can see how many of each square is in that section. And as I talked about in the video, section A is exactly like section B. Now facing, looking at it straight over top, they're actually mirrored image, but if you flip it around, they're identical. Okay. But that, once you do A, you can do B the same, right? Once you do C, D is a mirror image because we have 3 over here, a panel, 5. Then on the other section, 5, a panel, 3. So they're mirror images of both of them. Okay. So C is a mirror image of D. E is a mirror image of F. So this really helps, especially if you don't have a large design board, even if you do, because then you can break it up in sections, of course, but it helps you build this on a smaller scale. Okay, because it was really, really important for me to do this for people who didn't have the big design wall, because there's a lot of us, right? So I wanted to get that done. The last thing I did, and it came as I was sewing, I realized there were more, I could hear questions. So I've broken down each section, meaning with section A, you have the panel. And then if you look, 4 of those smaller squares fit with the panel. So you'd sew those together. Okay. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 5 on this top row. I think there's 9 on the bottom, but you can build each one and then sew these all together. And that's how you're going to get the no Y seams. Okay. So then once you add these 4, once you make this, you can add this with a straight line. Once you get these 2, or I should say 3 subsections together, then you can add the top and section A is done. And I've broken down the same way, okay, for each of the smaller sections. And then of course B is just like A. Okay. I hope that makes sense, but that is what the resources are. I think because I didn't write a pattern, I think this is extremely advantageous for you when you go to put it together if you decide to make this. Okay? Who says that? Sharina? Yes. Love the Christmas tree skirt. Know your mom loves some Lori Holt. What if you used a 6-inch Lori Holt square with a 1-inch border? You could do that. And we're going to talk about, Sharina, you and me are on the same planet, and you're going to see here in just a second what that means. What's up? You're breathing, Michael.
I sneezed. Am I not allowed to sneeze?
It didn't sound like a sneeze.
Oh, I sneezed.
So those are the 3 resources. They're underneath 2 tabs. So one says coloring sheet and the other one says guide. Okay. The guide comes 2 pages. Now I've got them in color, but I would suggest that you print them in black and white, because then you're going to save on colored ink, right? Because it's expensive. I just wanted to show you what it looked like in color. Okay, so that was the first thing I wanted to cover. Anybody have any questions over that? Let me know. All right, the next thing, I wanted to tell, I did talk about Tam's table topper that she made out of the same fabric line, or actually out of the same bundle with what I had part of what I had left over. So just for those who haven't seen the video yet, let me go ahead and close the chat box for a second. I know it's kind of weird. My daughter's traveling. So it's actually in a hotel room that she took this picture. But this is her table runner. Now, I want to tell you, my daughter, I think, has only done a rag quilt. She's never quilted. Okay? She went ahead. I gave her some of the, I'm going to show you that in a minute, my leftovers. She took some of the squares and she started laying everything out. She took 3 of the panels, okay, the larger blocks, and she put them down first and then figured out how much she wanted everywhere. This is her design. Never quilted. Now, she's very creative, so the design part was a lot of fun for her. So she figured that out. It measures at 44 by 16 finished. On the back and the binding, I know you can't tell, but she used Pin Dot Christmas. I want to tell you, I had an inch. I had an inch and a quarter left on the bolt because I've sold a metric ton of it. So she was able to get the backing and the binding, and I still have this much left over. Okay. So I'm thinking you might even be able to do it with a yard. It just depends on how it works out. But I had a yard and a quarter, and this is what we had. Okay. That's, how many inches is that? That's 11 inches. Yeah. And then this long strip. And I did cut for the binding. So I don't remember how much it takes. Everything's always a quarter of a yard or a half a yard. It's really small, so I can't imagine it took that much. I'd have to do the math. And if you're interested in the math, let me know. So it's a very easy, fast project. And here's the deal. Here's what I want to share with you. This is why I'm telling you this story. I don't know how well that picture is going to come out, but I tried to blow it up. But her pixels on the way she took the picture are kind of weird. Those points are amazing. And she's never done anything like this before. So, what is the trick? Remember I said all these points. I am not a magic sewer. This girl has never done anything like this, and her points are on point. How and why? Pins. I'm telling you, you may not need pins, and that's fine. But when you're going through all of this, there's a lot of seams to nest. Now, I nested mine because I wasn't poking and pinning. There was no way I was going to do that. It'd be a great place to do it because there are a lot of seams, but it's not necessary. Every single seam nests. And I talk about that in the video. So if you want to make sure yours do, I tell you how to get that done. Every single seam nests. And she was able to get that done with beautiful points because of the pins. So I wanted to share that. Okay. That's why I wanted to tell you, because some people get really scared when there's a lot of seams going on. These all nest. It takes more time, but just pin them. Just pin them. Let me take this back. Yeah, there you go, Michael. There you go. Yep. Just pin them.
Just pin them.
Just pin them. Okay, and I promise you, if she can do it as a first timer, so can you. Okay. Now, of course, cutting comes into play, and I did have all the small squares already cut because I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. So she took my smaller squares. As far as the panels go, I cut the first one down because they're not quite 8.5 inches. So I showed her how on the first one, and she cut the other 2. It worked fantabulous for her to learn really quilting, and she did a great job. And I just wanted to share that because no need to be scared, guys. This is not hard. It's just you really want to take the time, I think, right? But there's a million methods to do things. But I feel like if you just pin it, you'll be good. All right. So that's why. Okay, now I can show you some of the other leftovers. Now, mind you, as far as that table topper, if I counted correctly, it was 84 2.5-inch squares and 3 8.5-inch squares. Out of the 2.5 inches, out of everything I cut, I still have this many left. There's a lot in here, guys. And I think there might be more somewhere else, but this is definitely what I have together. And I will tell you, at the end of strips, I might have 1 3/4 or 2-inch squares that I could cut from to use them in future projects, but I needed 2.5, so they weren't big enough, kind of thing. There's a lot of those too. So I have all of this, plus I have several strips left that from fat quarters that I didn't cut down to 2.5-inch strips. I have 3 of them. Then I have, as far as I know, I think I have it all together. I have 1, 2, 3, 3 leftovers. I think this is a full. Yeah, this is a full. 3 leftovers on my what is this called? Fat quarter. 3 partials. And then look, guys, I still have 1, 2. Do I have that one? Don't I have that one? I don't. 3, 4, 5. Look, guys, look at that. We got stripes. 6, 7, 8, 9. I still have 10 fat quarters. What does that mean? Somebody mentioned they wanted to know how much they could, if would be left over on my fat quarters, because they were thinking about doing Christmas tree skirts. So if you can fit a Christmas tree skirt in a fat quarter, I mean, that's pretty big, guys, right? If you can fit a stocking inside there, mine do. You need 2 of these in the way I do it. So 10 fat quarters left, that gives you 5 stockings. I'm going to use mine for something else. And also you could do, obviously, there's enough, I have enough panels left of those blocks to do another table runner. So we're talking about the Christmas tree skirt, 2 table toppers, and Christmas trees, or Christmas stockings. Wouldn't that be cool? Lots of fabric left over for you to play with. Now, another thing you could do, I actually used Icy Snowmen for the backing, and I'm using it for the binding, okay? You could do a scrappy binding with your leftovers. I thought about it, especially since I really love the stripes. So, just want to give you an idea of what is left over. Plenty of fabric. It is super cute, guys. The fabric is super cute. Hello, Miss Belle. You just got home from Texas. Well, welcome home, just like Mary said. Welcome back. And it's good to see you, Anna Live. Fantabulous. Okay, so that is how much I have in leftover. Now, I want to talk about fabric. So this is, the line that I use is Cup of Cheer. By Kimber Bell for Maywood Studios, and the panel, which I showed the whole panel, a picture of it on the video. It's got 12 different blocks that I cut down to 8.5 inches, and it works great. Like, obviously, you can see it works great. So that's what I use, but I got to thinking, there are some other ideas. All right, let me flip over. Yeah, it does always feel to come home, doesn't it? Of course, then sometimes you need a vacation. All right. Here we go. This is also by Kimber Bell. I know you can't see that because of the lighting. But it's called Jingle and Whisk. Now, some of these have some cooking items, which might be cool if you're doing it or you like cooking. But not all of them do, guys. So I think I mean, look at these. I think this would be absolutely darling. Look at the polka dots inside this. Look at that. Look. Isn't that cute? I mean, seriously.
Super
This
cute.
is
Love it.
super cute. Love it. Okay. And look. I mean, seriously, guys. This is absolutely darling. I think I can turn down a light. Close your eyes for just a sec. There we go. I think that helps. Well, one more. There we go. I mean, look at that fabric. Look. Polka dots in multiple colors. Would that not... Okay, that one's another cooking one. But would this not be so cute? So cute. Look. Yeah, super cute. Super cute, love it. I think this would make a really good Christmas tree skirt myself. Now, it doesn't have a panel, so we're going to come back to that in just a second. Hey, Cindy! Glad to see you here. Welcome. All right, so that's the first one. That is Kimber Bell's Jingle and Whisk, okay? The next one, if you are, Sharina, this is where you and me get along. If you are a Lori Holt fan and you want to build a Christmas tree skirt that just feels homemade is happiness kind of thing, as her saying is, all of her different lines, I'm going to close the chat box. I watched your video. Oh, I'm so glad. So glad to hear that, Cindy. If you have any questions, let me know. So, this is an example. This is actually bee plaids. You could use reds, greens, blues, teals, white. You could put a little black in there. That'd be okay. Or browns or grays. Okay. This would make a really, really cute type of, I don't know what to call it, like country, or we'll just say Lori Holt. Lori Holt fan kind of thing. I think it'd be darling. Okay. Now this too doesn't come with a panel that you can cut down in 8.5-inch squares. So I'm going to talk about that, but I want to show you. Here's another one. This is Prairie. Now you have plenty of fabric left over, but look, blues, reds, greens. You could do brown instead of gray. We have these off color of greens. I mean, this is another good one, guys. And you could do a dark red and I don't know what color to call this. I don't know what that is. Like a pink red. It's a little bit more than pink, but it's on the red side. I mean, this would make a really, really cute Christmas tree skirt if you're looking for that type of aesthetic. Last one. This is, I got to move the table because I'm hitting the camera and it drives Michael crazy. Drives Mayhem crazy. He's going to be talking about it after we get off. Okay, so here's another here's another one. Reds, greens, teals, blues, grays. I mean, this is another great line that you could really mix and match for this Christmas tree skirt. Now, I will tell you, none of these come with a panel. So let's talk about that. Let me come back at you. Here we go. I feel like I've been gone forever and I don't know how to use this stuff. Okay, so what do you do with 8-inch finished, 8.5-inch unfinished blocks? Well, let me tell you what you do. This is where I'm going, and I'm actually thinking about writing the pattern for it. But instead of using a panel, this is the easy way, okay? Because the next way is a little harder. It's building your favorite kind of block. So, for instance, the churn dash. Now, normally that's a equilateral block, and it comes into like a 9 patch, and 3 doesn't divide into 8. So it's going to be a little wonky. With the sides will be a little thinner, and the middle will be a little bigger, but it works, okay? You could do a churn dash. There are certain stars you could do. There are different blocks that you could pick, and you could use the same fabric line so everything matches, okay? So, hey there, Mom. Glad to see you. Yeah, maybe I'll make one for you, Mom. Although your tree is a lot smaller, so I'm not sure this will overtake your completely overtake your tree. Um, but that's what you can do. I think it would be amazing. And like I said, I'm going to you'll watch later because you keep getting kicked out. Who says that? Stephanie. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, members of a long arm quilter, or see you soon. You have some vintage Christmas blocks that you don't actually have a plan for yet. Can they be cut down to 8.5, or are they 8.5 inches? Because that's what these are. Okay, that's what these bigger blocks are. There are so many things. You could actually just use one print. You could just make it easy, call it a day. I'd have to play with that to see how it would look. Maybe they're all the same. I don't know. It's a design thing, but I wanted to give you some ideas in case you didn't want to do this bundle. Now I'm very limited on how many I have. I've been selling them, and we've been doing the pop-ups. Of course, all the sales that have been going on. So I don't know how many are left, but there ain't many. Okay, so if that isn't your forte, although I loved it. I mean, y'all gotta love this color. Just saying. There's other things you can do. And I just wanted to give you some inspiration on some ideas. So, but using a vintage Christmas block would work as long as it can be cut 8.5 inches. Right? Absolutely. Absolutely. That I can't. If you do this, Shereen, I want to see it. All right. The last thing I talked about for the binding, I said it's 220 inches. Now, hello, Miss Dawn, glad to see you. If you make oh yeah, you could put the borders on it to make it 8. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You could do that very easily. I forgot you said that. You did say that earlier. You're absolutely right. Dawn, I'm glad to see you stop by. You know you're busy. The binding, 220 inches. What that is I measured all the edges and the slit and the hole. Okay, that's all the inches that you would need for binding, period. That does, normally you do that and then you add 10, right? I ended up adding, I know this is going to sound like a lot, but there's a reason for it. I ended up adding 40 inches. That's a strip. That's only a strip. Really? Yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, it's only a strip. Now, the reason I did that is because we have a lot of mitered corners. I mean, this is an octagon. I kept calling it a hexagon, but it's an octagon. There are a lot of mitered corners, plus you have the extra slit, plus you have the inside hole. So, and there's corners in here too, okay? So, that's a lot. Plus, I piecemealed mine, and I had some extra bias angles in my, what do you call it? In my binding. And I'm making it. It's fine. It made it, but I would prefer even a little extra. So what I'm going to suggest is I would start with the 220. I added 40. I did 260. Okay. I'd rather have too much than not enough. And this is what I did. I know y'all are going to think I'm crazy, but I cleared out my floor. I gave it a good sweep. I put it down, and I did a fake run with my binding to be sure that it was going to work. I would encourage that too. 260 should be plenty. Okay. And I did tell you how much fabric that is. I want to say it's 6.5. Yeah, it is. It's a little more than 6.5 strips. So it's like 6.57. So you'll need 7 strips. And if you do 2.5, I think that equaled, oh gosh, I said it in the video. I think it's half. 7 times 2 is 14. Yeah, I think it does. Honestly, I think it's half a yard. Okay. Now, I did talk about my backing and all of that too in the video, because I didn't have to cut, here we go. We didn't have to cut extra fabric for it because I had enough left over from when I did this. Okay. But that's where I got the 220 and what it means. It does not add the extra for the overlapping, for all the mitered corners, for the bias angles in your strips. Yeah, I think that's all. So, giving you a heads up on that, where that came from. All right, guys. So here is the truth to everything. I'm going to start. I have a couple of more things, not too much, just a little. I promised you I'd show you the first Christmas tree skirt I ever made, which is in a circle, and it's 48 inches in diameter, finished, which is the same thing as the length, the longest part of this quilt, okay? It's just a full circle so we don't cut off the angles. All right. So we're going to talk about that first, and then I'm going to do the demo. I'm pulling my hair up because it's time to get to work. All right. Because I am sweating like a stuck pig. All right. I don't know why. Do stuck pigs sweat? I don't know. Okay. So let me put that away. Okay. Here is my very first Christmas tree skirt. And I did... Now, mind you, this is a while ago. A long while ago. Many, many years. And this fabric, at the time, I didn't understand the difference between quilt shop fabric and Joann's. So all this came from Joann's. And look, it's still together. Okay. But this is the Christmas tree skirt. And I did... Okay. It's a circle. It's in a circle. So I did free motion this on my 6 3/4 throat. I'll show you. It's monofilament on the front. Yeah, it's monofilament on top of that. And on the back, I used, for the bobbin, I had like a beige of some sort. Okay. So I'll show you. It's not perfect, but it's there. Now, I did talk about, I used 3.5 yards to do this so I could get the center seam to be, you know, the seam that goes to be down the middle. This called, it's the same size per se, but it called for 1 3/4. And I talked about in the video how it gave you this weird line. Now on my back, I have directional fabric. So, you know, I was really new, right? All right, here we go. So this is what happens. You can do it, okay? But it does that weird cut. It's not down the middle. The seam is not down the middle. And it does, I mean, it's okay, but it's kind of weird. Where this way with 3.5 yards, I got my seam center-ish on the back, okay? And it's even. Of course, I use non-directional fabric, so that was even easier too. However, I wanted to show you, you can do this with 1 3/4. You're just going to have a weird cut to make sure it works, okay? I mean, that is, especially with directional fabric, that's really weird, okay? And I will tell you, the second one I did for my daughter. I did it the same way. Guess what? It has that, and she did a buffalo plaid. Oh yeah, it looks really weird. Some of the points I've been able to match, but some of them I couldn't. You know, some of the print. You can tell where the line is. That's my point. And even if you don't have directional fabric, you know, you can still see a seam. Okay, so the seam is here on this weird side. Okay, that's my point. But you can do it. And if you do 1 3/4 and do this wonky cutting, you're going to need to buy more fabric for your binding. If you do 3.5 yards of, you know, a vertical seam, you can use the leftover fabric to do your binding. Bias binding. Yeah, this is all bias binding. This is not. Now, we're going to talk about a little bit of something here in a minute. But these are all straight lines, okay? So I didn't have to do bias binding. Now I don't mind bias binding, but I know a lot of people do. So yeah, because the center is a circle, the outside's a circle. The other thing I wanted to share with you, I'm not doing ties on this quilt. I've done ties on 2 Christmas trees, skirts. You can add ties to this if you so desire. Okay, I've got 3 on each side of the opening, 1 on the bottom, 1 in the middle-ish, and 1 at the top. I don't think they're necessary. And to be real with you guys, here's a true statement. You don't even need a slit. I talk about that in the video. You could just cut out a hole. You can make it circular and do bias binding with it, but you don't even need this slit. Because if you put your tree stand down, then put this over the top of it with the hole exposed where you're going to put your tree, and then put the tree in, you don't even have to do a slit. Just say it. That'd be less binding that you have to do, that's for sure. And then you don't have to worry about nothing except for the center. Cutting that would be interesting. Okay, so I wanted to share this with you and some of those other ideas. Now I'm going to get to the demo. So I'm going to pull this off the wall. I only had it held by 2 pins, I think. Yep. Okay. All right, let me move these pins out of the way. So what I promised, I'm telling you guys, I'm sweating like a stuck pig. What are you laughing at? I see you laughing, Dawn. What are you laughing at? Okay, so what I promised you is, oh no, my ears are coming out. That I would, I would demo how to do these corners because they're not 90 degrees. So I'm going to do one with you. Okay. There's something else I had to add to that. Give me just a second. I don't know. It's gone. So I should have practiced right before I went on, but I didn't. All right. I've done several already. And I'm going to... I'm hitting stuff. Now it'll be interesting. I'm going to show you my sewing. But this is bulky. Okay. Oh. Here we go. Y'all pray I don't fall out of my chair.
Hey now, none of that. Because I will point and laugh. I mean, worry about you.
Well, I fell out that one time on a live, and ever since I'm like creepy nervous about it. Okay. I mean, there's nothing you can do. I'm clumsy and, you know, all that stuff. Okay. So let me go ahead. I'm going to pull you in. You're not going to see me because I got to stand up and hang over. I'm hoping that you'll still be able to hear me. Michael, you have to let me know if my sound goes stupid. But I'm going to do one of these corners with you. Okay. And I'm hoping the sewing machine will work out too because it's, like I said, it's really bulky. Okay, here we go. Let me switch cameras. Well, before I do, directional fabric on a bias. Well, that wasn't biasy. The back isn't. It's just backing. But all right. How do I do this? I'm always okay. So I'm getting prepared. Give me a hot minute here. Making sure that the camera is going to work. All right. And it is. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and switch cameras. I'll be back, guys. How do I do that? How do I switch, Michael? There it is. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm going to adjust the microphone a little bit. Hopefully you don't hear too much of that because I'm standing up, and we realized in one of the videos, y'all haven't seen it yet, but we have some issues with sound because I stand up. Hopefully my sound's okay. All right, so what I've done is just like normal, I have stitched down at 1/4 inch, okay? Now, if you'll notice, this corner is not 90 degrees, okay? Now, one of the things it's similar to the Christmas star Santa cookie rug. It's a little bit wider, but it's similar. Okay, so I don't like to piecemeal videos. I really despise when I have to say to you guys, well, you could check out this video. I know that that's helpful, but sometimes I really want to add that extra so you don't have to piecemeal. It was already today an hour and 15 minutes long, or an hour long, something like that. So I decided to do this on a live. Okay. What I was thinking, I don't know, because y'all know I don't like sewing live. Okay, so the first thing, I've stitched all the way down. Now, to get the right placement, what I'm going to do is I'm looking at this point, okay? Right here, that little point, okay? So, do I need to turn the light up or are you good? Michael, what do you think?
It's all right. You might benefit a little bit of a turn up.
One down. Okay, here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, whenever we do bias binding, when you do the first fold, you want this straight line. So I'm going to take my fabric. I want it to be, now you want to pull it a little tight because that's what's going to happen whenever you sew. You give it you just make it nice and straight. Not like crazy, but just enough. Oh, I'm really close to the mic. I hope I'm not blowing y'all out of the water. Okay, so you're going to want to take it and fold it at the point and make that straight line. I'm doing this upside down. Okay, so how that folds to give that straight line, and the fold will be at that point. Does this make sense? I hope so. Okay, so there we go. So notice, just like we do in our regular miters, this is in a straight line. I'm going to give this a really good finger press. Now, I'm not able to see real clear, so I hope I nail this. Because this is actually a little far away from me. But what that does is it gives me, I think it's okay. So it gives me a press line. At that point, I take my ruler. I'm going to put it so that I'm right before the press line. So when I mark with my pen, I'm going to get on the seam. Okay, boom. Now, I'm going to come back to the sewing machine, and you're going to watch this, and I'm going to sew until I hit this line. Okay, so let's do that. Let me adjust the microphone again. All right, because now I'm sitting down. And I'm going to bring you over to the sewing machine. Let me just make sure we're good. I know y'all can't see it yet, and we're looking at a blank screen. Okay, but that's because I'm getting ready over here at the sewing machine. All right, and unfortunately, I have two tails I have to contend with. Actually, it can nest in the back. Yeah, I can fix it later. So let me get this all lined up. I just want to make sure. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and transition so you can watch some of this. If I can figure out the transition button. Okay, here we go. So this is where I'm at, guys. Oh, nope, it didn't transition. There we go. Okay, so here's where I'm at. I got the sewing machine going. And I got a lot of string going on here. Okay. I do have this at 1/4 inch. Just so y'all know. And if you notice, I'm not using my normal seam guides from Guidelines for Quilting because it's so thin. You can do it with this, but I like this one because it's a lot thicker, and I can rest against it. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. I gotta find where I stopped sewing for you guys, and if you have to stop before the next like I did for the video. I actually stopped before the corner so I could show you how to do this. It's okay. So do that, okay? Because there ain't nothing wrong with it. What is it caught on? I don't know. We're just going to keep going. My bottom thread is lost in the sauce. I'm going to get all kinds of nesting on the bottom, but that's okay. Okay. So this is where I stopped. Now remember, I'm going to sew until I get to the line, okay? And I want to make sure my quilt is straight. I am with a walking foot too. That's the other thing I wanted to share with you guys, is that I am using a walking foot because, you know, I have a quilt sandwich plus another piece of fabric that's folded. So that's 5 layers. So I'm going to go down. Now because I cut threads, I'm going to actually do a little bit of a back stitch so it doesn't come undone. And all we're going to do is sew until we get to the line. Okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and back stitch. I'm going to make sure I hit the line. I don't think I did. So I'm going to, it's hard to tell. Oh no, I think I did. And then I'll cut threads. It's that easy. So then I'm going to come back over to the cutting board for you so you can actually see how to do this again. Whoop. My tails, look, my tail's so long, guys, because I have some more quilting to do. All right. Transition this. All right. So here's the part that we sewed. Okay. Got to the line. Okay. Now we're going to do exactly what we did to find the line. Let me grab here we go. Okay. And you, just like every other mitered corner, you want your angle of your fabric to be on a straight line going away, and then we're going to fold it back. Okay. Now what you will notice is you still have a flap. Okay. You do still have a flap, but it's smaller than when you do a 90-degree angle, like a regular mitered corner on a rectangle or a square, but you still have one. So at this point, you can either pin it or clip it. Just make sure your clip will reach, because the small ones don't reach. I have to use a big one. And then when I go to stitch again, guess what? Look, you're just going to start on the fabric, on the fold, just like normal, and sew down to the next edge and do the exact same thing. It's not hard, guys. It's not. So that is how you do these corners, and there's plenty of them. I want to share with you, and I'm going to show you in underneath this camera real quick. I wasn't thinking, and here's the dealio. Here is that center square. Okay? What I didn't think about is these are inside squares or corners. Normally we sew outside, right? Like if this was the corner of your quilt, it would be like this, but these are reversed. You still don't have to cut a bias binding. You could, it's a little different whenever, I mean, I'm going to demonstrate this. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. I'm going to come back at you and talk to you about it. But you can cut with a fabric. Now, there's a difference between length and width, right? Length goes parallel to the selvage. Width goes perpendicular up and down. So selvage up here, this is width of fabric. Selvage right here, this is length of fabric. So if you cut it with the fabric, you'll have enough pull to work with. Okay? But let me come back at you and talk about this a second.
Oh, I went to respond and I accidentally muted myself. Cool. Thanks.
What were you responding to?
I was being a smart aleck.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you were
Yeah.
muted.
Ah,
Okay.
sure.
I can't wait to hear this. Okay, so here's the deal with the inside corners. Y'all are going to watch this. I actually did cut my leftovers from, oh, it's not behind anymore, from my 3.5 yard backing. Okay. Look, icy snowmen. Aren't they super cute? They're so cute. I cut it length. Not width of fabric, but length of fabric. So what that means is when you do that, you have no give along this edge. If you cut it with the fabric, you do have some give. You see, I'm stretching my fabric out, but this is the tail, so I'm okay with that. You see how it has give? Okay. This way, there's no give. So it's going to be a lot of fun for me to do the inside of my tree skirt. But what I'm going to do tomorrow, it's just going to be a real short video, guys, because all I'm going to do is show you how to do it. I don't know what mine's going to look like because I have zero give, but I'm doing it because I already cut it and I didn't even think. So this is what quilters do, right? You do your best and you make it work. I don't want to cut more binding. I have no desire to do that. So I'm going to make it work. And I'm going to show you, though, how to do an inside corner. And it will work with any project you have. It won't be a long video. It's going to be very short because that's the only thing I'm going to show you. But that way, when you go to make this, if you don't cut a circle and do bias binding, and you just do width of fabric, I'll show you, and you cut the square instead of a circle, I'll show you how to get that done. It's not hard. It's just better if you have width of fabric. So we'll find out, but I'm going to do that for you tomorrow. So I wanted to share that with you. At some point, it'll drop on YouTube. I got to video it. I got to do it. I got to get there because I got one more angle to sew. So I got to get there, and then I got to video it and edit it. So it's going to take me a little time. But as soon as it's done, as soon as I'm done editing, I'm going to flash it up on YouTube. So if you're making this tree skirt, you know how to do it, or any project that has an inside corner. Cool? Hope so. Now, the other thing I wanted to share is, last thing that I want to share for now is, where did I start and why? All right. So I have a slit here. This is my slit. And thank you for the compliment on the Christmas tree skirt. I love it. I can't wait. It's, to be honest with you guys, though, it's just going to be a sample. Okay. So this is my slit and the beginning of my hole. I actually started at the bottom of the first slit and I went around the skirt. You know what? Let me hang this back up. I think that'd be easier. I think me trying to hold this up is ridiculous. All right.
Absolutely ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Now, you can start anywhere you want, of course, because, you know, like I said, there's a million ways to do this. All right. Hopefully I'm giving you enough room to see this. Oh, I should have showed you what the corners look like. I'm going to do that in one more second. I'm going to show you how to fold those corners when you go to press it. So this is the slit, right? These earbuds are going to kill me. So, and here's the hole, okay? I started on one side of the slit. I went down. Now, the first corner is a regular mitered corner, 90-degree angle, regular corner, okay? Then I went to the first, then I went to the second, and I'm going all the way around. And I'll come back up. I'll do the center, and then I'll have enough room on this first. It's a straight edge, guys. So I'll have enough room to do the overlap and get the joining of the binding easily. I hope y'all can hear me.
Yep.
So that's how I did this. All right, last but not least, I forgot to show you how to fold these and that it does work. If there's any questions, just let me know. I'm trying to be as explanatory as possible. But again, if you have any additional questions if you're doing it, never hesitate. I will do Facebook. We can do a private Zoom. We can do Facebook Messenger with video. I've done it before with several people, so whatever it takes. All right, so let me go back one more time. Where is... Whoops. Whew, almost did the wrong camera. All right. So, oh, I guess I can stand up again. So, I've sewn this one on, okay? And it's the exact same. You have your... Oh, y'all can't see that. I'm making it darker. Sorry, guys. Messing with the camera. You're like, quit doing that, I'm going to be sick. So, you have your regular miter here. And this is the bulky side. And just like you want to do when you fold it over, now I'll have to push this out a little bit, but you want to put the bulky side on the opposite and look at that. Oh, let me go ahead and look at that. We got a beautiful miter. Now, if you'll notice, I don't have it on the points, and that's the way it has to be cut. You won't have enough room. You can try, but if you wanted to do a 1/4 inch away, it won't allow you to cut the other side. So that's just the way that this is designed, but you'll get beautiful mitered corners doing this. Okay. So I'm glad I remembered to share that with you because it's kind of important. All right. Woo. That is, I know that was a lot. And I told y'all this was going to be long because I had so much to cover. Because I try to give you value in this free content. Because I'm looking for stuff. I'm looking for my notes. I don't know where my notes. Oh, here they are. And if I'm going to create something and I want to show you how to do it without writing a pattern, I really want to be able to give you enough information that you're comfortable doing it. Now, sometimes I do stuff and it still ain't clear. And that is what getting a hold of me is all about. Because I'm the only quilter at this time in Halo. So that's what that's there for. And I do respond. I've had, I can't even tell you, umpteen million questions asked by a lot of different people. And I will do what it needs, I do, like I said, I've done videos, private sessions to answer different questions, to show them how to do things. I've done that too. So if there's something you're not clear about, contact me, okay? If I can make it in words and it's clear to you, then you'll be on your way. If I need to do a video and try to help you that way, a private one, we can do that too. So that's what at least for now, that's what I'm here for. So don't hesitate. And I really, really wanted to give you enough so that you were comfortable in getting this done. It's not hard. It's not. But there are some different things in it than a normal quote unquote quilt, right? Because it's a Christmas tree skirt in octagon shape. Super cute. Super love it. So you will see a video drop tomorrow. That's it. That's all I got for today. You'll have to watch the replay. Lucy woke up. Oh, tell her I said hello. Hasn't come through the chat yet, but it's coming. Love you, Dawn. So that is all we've got for today. Yeah. Wow, I did it in an hour? I'm shocked. I thought it was going to be forever. Yeah. This is Christmas cheer, guys. It's
Christmas cheer.
Christmas cheer. It's fun fabric, beautiful colors, very vibrant. The prints are fun. Everything is just great about this line. Kimber Bell did a wonderful job. Kimber Bell, Maywood Studios.
You're awesome.
Maywood. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate your thumbs up. It only does it for Facebook, guys. It won't do it for YouTube. Boo. But thank you, Miss Bell. Yeah, this line is, it just makes it, the fabric is what makes the magic, okay? It's really not a complicated pattern. It really is not. Now, I've made it easy because I've done all the work for you. So you can just lay it out and throw it together. I say that like it's, oh, just throw it together, to be an hour. No, it does take a little bit. I'd say I could have done this, sewing, all the sewing in less than a day. Yeah. I could have done that easily. Now I was doing videos and everything was chopped up. So, and then of course I had my daughter here at one point. So, it did take me a little longer. Took me a lot longer. And then of course I'm always thinking, what do I need to show you? I try to hear the questions as I'm doing things. So it does take me a little longer to do that. But if I were just making one, I could get it sewn together in a day. And then you have to quilt it. And I will tell you, if you're going to do this on your domestic, I would spray baste it. That's what I would do. Personal preference. But, I mean, it's quilter's choice, right? But I would spray baste it down so that your ends, because they're kind of jiggity jaggedy, but that way they're still on there. And, yeah. You could do the straight line, on your domestic. You could very easily do stitch in a ditch, straight lines, organic straight lines, wavy lines, organic wavy lines. And you can even do a crosshatch. Because of all the squares, it'd be very easy to go corner to corner because they're not very big. And you could get all the crosshatching done in, that is a design element inside the larger squares. I think that'd be really cute, personally. So, very fun. And, not hard, guys. Just time consuming. So.
Just time consuming.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add,
Isn't
Michael?
No, that's one all been on you. Just watching, soaking in the information.
Are you?
Yeah.
One day you're going to make something too.
Sure.
I mean, if Tam did it.
What does that have to do with anything? She's done stuff before. I haven't done anything.
But not like this. I mean, she did do rag quilting, but it's different. Because you're like quilting as you go. This is not like that. You're building a topper. And so I will say, because of that, she's done squares, and I've taught her to pin the way I pin, and her points come out. But I could teach that. I'm telling you, Michael, you're going to learn to do something.
I'm gonna learn to do something. I'm not denying that. You're right. I'm gonna learn some things.
I know I know everybody in here wants to see you sew.
Okay. That's fine.
Right?
That's fine.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be mother-son bonding time.
Yeah, that.
So at any rate, that's what I got. Now I will tell you, next week is a Cherub Chit Chat, so I'm reaching out to some of you to see if I can use some of your photos. And of course, I'll have this done, so you'll be able to see that. Because all I got left is the binding. So I was just looking at some quilting. I had a little bit of a tension issue, and it's probably the end of a spool. Just on one, literally, it's like 2 inches. So, oh, thank you, Miss Mary. Thank you very much, and thank you, Miss Mary, for stopping by. I know this was a longer. Well, they're all long because I just talk too much, but
facts. I mean.
So, yep, that's it, guys. That's all she wrote. And Cherub Chit Chat next week. I think Michael would do great too, Mom. Cherub Chit Chat is next week. Starting tomorrow, for anybody who has a countdown to Christmas, Missouri Star Quilting inside Creative Kingdom. We're going to post a link today for the Discord. And I'm going to do hopefully with Michael, we're going to do a short video on how to get where you need to go. And we'll start that tomorrow, and I'll post more information inside Creative Kingdom for you. If anybody wants to join Creative Kingdom, it's our private Facebook group. Feel free to come. And anybody who wants to see what's in the box with other people that have it, I mean, you may not have it, but you want to join in the fun and want to be part of the party, everybody's welcome inside Creative Kingdom. So if you want to be there, the link is in the description box. I think it's that way or that way for Facebook and that way for YouTube. So you can just answer the 3 questions and we'll give you the keys to the kingdom. Without those 3 questions, you won't get in. Yeah, 25 days till Christmas. Mom. Listen, guys, I haven't bought nothing. Have y'all bought anything? Are you ready for Christmas? I got the tree up, but I got to be honest with you. My daughter did it, so I didn't even get the tree up. So, at any rate, we'll talk more. I will be on Happy Hour this Saturday inside Creative Kingdom, but next Wednesday we will do Cherub Chit Chat here on YouTube and Facebook live at 3 p.m. Eastern Time as I'm here in Virginia. And if you're like Michael on the West Coast, it is noon straight. Is that right, Michael? It is noon, right? Is
what?
it noon for you? That you go with me. When it's a 3 p.m. live, it's noon for you, right?
Yeah, it's noon for me. Yeah.
Okay, so West Coast noon, Central Time is 2 p.m. So look forward to seeing y'all next week. If you have any creative quilts or, if you have any creative quilts that you'd love to share for inspiration to the other cherubs of Halo Inspiration, don't hesitate to send on Facebook Messenger. You can send it by email, which also is in the description box. Send them out. Let me know that I can share it. And I would love to share your creations for more inspiration for our cherubs. So, at any rate, can't afford Christmas, just order 2 pair of gloves. Oh my gosh. Listen, me and you, Mary, we're going to talk on Saturday. I got an eye appointment. It might be this Friday. No. We'll talk later. I'm with you, girl. I got to buy glasses too. So, at any rate, see y'all next week or see y'all Saturday or tomorrow for our first opening of the Countdown to Christmas. And until next time, get ready, Michael. Thank you for stopping by. But until next time, may you all continue to be inspired, productive, ever so joyful. Never stop believing and never stop making your dreams in quilting come true. Where you at, Michael?
Stay safe.
Stay safe. Yes.
Stay safe, guys.
I love y'all. Thank you again for stopping by. Happy quilting and Merry Christmas. Love ya.